Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider time! Arigato gozaimasu. Watashi wa Burayan, aka Albano Ninja. I'm sorry.
That was kind of good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was kind of good. What is going on, you guys?
Holy shit, I'm on Japanese. Here. I'm sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
Once again, I say thank you guys so much for the 3K. I appreciate y'all for watching these things, for giving your own opinion on it.
And staying loyal fans.
Yeah, staying loyal. And asking us what else y'all want to see. Like well, we know History of Power is also going to be coming up because Beast Morphers is being made as we speak. Well, the history of Beast Morphers, Powers of Beast Morphers being made as we speak. But we're going to give that, we're gonna give that a few days after he posts them because of YouTube and their bullshit.
Yeah,
they might just take it down immediately. Yeah, because of copyright shit. So he's gonna be going through all that. Either way, it's coming. So expect that. This one though is gonna be about Kamen Rider, and the next writer that was going to be going along with this, Kabuto, with our line of videos. Because since we did Hibiki, it's time to do Kabuto. One of my most favorite Heisei writers ever.
Although Sasou is better, but anyway.
Fuck you.
I mean, aesthetically wise, Sasou was good, but Kabuto was dope, though.
Kabuto, I had watched that from beginning to end, and I just enjoyed it all around.
I have to refresh my memory. I've seen, Kabuto, but I got to refresh a lot of stuff. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Well, this will help you refresh, since it's a fucking review.
Sanku Masazen.
Oh, yes, the Master Zen is with us as well.
Playing Monster Hunter Stories 2, or whatever. Is it Ruin or Stories? Stories 2, right? Stories 2. And that's my cell phone. Shout out cell phones.
Alright, well, without further ado, let's just get this underway. There we go.
What do you know that hit? Thumbs up for awesome commentary. That's a dope intro.
It is.
There's something about Heisei Phase 1 that just grabs me. These stretch of shows between Showa era and Phase 2 have a familiar yet different kind of feel. Have a lineup of Showa writers and you can tell that they're a group that fit each other's themes. Have a lineup of Heisei Phase 2 writers and you'll see how much the suits differ in appearance. Then look at Heisei Phase 1 writers. Kuga and Agito have similar motifs, however, they each have several key differences that separate them from not only themselves, but other writers within the same phase and beyond. Other Heisei Phase 1 writers can look one way on the surface, but can be almost entirely different once you watch their seasons. I can give you the general premise of Kamen Rider Blade and Hibiki, though they might not appeal to you unless you actually sit down and watch them. Even then, their seasons go a different way after their halfway points, for better and for worse respectively. Now that we're on Kamen Rider Kabuto, well, I brought up Blade and Hibiki for a reason. Third time's the charm, I guess. You guys may or may not notice during the recap on what exactly changes, and it's not anything super obvious either. Those who already watched the show or know others' opinions on the season already have an idea of what I'm going to bring up during my thoughts. Alright, on to the show. In 1999, a meteor fell on Shibuya, Japan, changing history as we know it. 7 years later in the present day, a security guard notices himself. Doppelgangers have been appearing since the meteorite fell. They're monsters called worms, and an organization named Zect created a team of Zect troopers to take them out. A man named Arata Kagami arrives on the scene to gather data. He's on a surveillance team with 2 other members, Tadakoro and Misaki. The worms begin to molt, transforming into bigger and faster powered-up versions. Unfortunately, several Zect troopers are killed, so they and Kagami are forced to retreat. Well, geez, looks like life is difficult for Kagami, but life wants to kick him while he's down since his wallet gets robbed the next day. Another man casually strolls by, not having a care in the world, aside from his tofu. The man kicks Kagami's wallet towards the thief and introduces himself.
And I try to do that every single day.
Yeah.
Save your tofu?
No, walking the path to heaven.
Oh.
Yeah, only this time.
God dang it.
What was that?
He's trying to say you're a fucking moron.
That, sir, was not Japanese.
It's him saying you're a fucking moron.
In some kind of Aztec language. I don't know.
No, that was him saying you're a fucking moron.
In Aztec.
No, and just...
Do you even know what Aztec is?
No.
Then stop saying it.
Let's continue.
Tendo Soji lives with his sister, Juka, though Tendo isn't really doing much of anything, because he's prepared for something to come. Probably in the form of a belt that he owns. A belt similar to what Kagami has that's made to fight worms. The Masked Rider system. Zect troopers are sent to protect a girl, Hiyori, from an oncoming worm. Kagami desperately grabs a Masked Rider belt. He calls for a mechanical beetle, and it flies towards...
That guy.
And he was so hurt. he was so hurt when that happened. I felt it. It was like, no, that's mine. You can't have it. Why are you here? And he's like, this is my moment. The time has come. And I was like, okay.
I was looking for you to say henshin. I thought you was going to do the whole sequence, but
No. We'll wait until the end to do that.
Oh man, you doing it this time though.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Pause again.
But now you were saying
This whole sequence is like top 5 overall best transformations in the Kamen Rider series, in my opinion.
yeah, because it's just
Like that whole, it's just like boom. But no, fucking, you'll see when it comes up. You'll see what I mean. Just
yeah, let's go through that again.
bone chilling.
Because I like this moment.
Tendo waits for Kagami at a bistro that he already works at. It's basically the season's main base, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Kagami works for Zect, but apparently he doesn't know much about them, other than giving Tendo the general statement that Zect are saving the world from worms. Speaking of worms, I brought up that they can move fast after they molt, and luckily, so can these riders by casting off their mask forms.
Cast off.
Now let's talk about the suit, or suits. Kamen Rider Kabuto's masked form is something I had to get used to. Bulky main rider suits aren't the norm for a reason. I want to say that it doesn't look right. Well, I like it, but I think having a thick top and barely any armor for the bottoms is weird, reminding me of what I didn't like about Kamen Rider Kuga's suit. As for the casted off form, oh my gosh, it looks so good. Now this is what I love about having something new. It's so sleek, so shiny, so gorgeous. Kamen Rider UP's design is pretty slick and shiny too, but Kabuto's motif and execution is just way better. The henshin devices, Zectors, are also pretty cool. My compliments go far beyond the suit though. I'll bring up action again when we get to Kamen Rider Double, but when it comes to Heisei Phase 1, it's the standard physical action we all love. The choreography has always been good, starting with the cheesiness of Showa Riders to the raw combat of Kuga, then shifting a bit to something more modern with Kamen Rider Fies. CGI has been used sparingly with older seasons like Kamen Rider Agito, then Ryuki introduced it to be more commonplace with monsters, vehicles, and finishing moves. Kabuto has an interesting power. He can can use Clock Up to move just as fast as Worms. And yes, Clock Up is supposed to have the user move at a variable equal to the speed of light. Narration even says so. Anyway, using this ability leads to some really cool ideas. With the help of CGI, we get gorgeous fight scenes such as in its debut, a fight on top of theme park attractions while people are on it. And this iconic scene of rain being slowed down.
Yes, I loved that so much.
The choreography's still good, but the set pieces are gorgeous, even to this day. A lot of it holds up. I mean, not everything, just a lot of it. Not to mention the music. Just like the action, Kamen Rider music has a standard of being good too.
Hold on, let me check to make sure we still recording.
Especially when it comes to vocal insert themes. This season we have Full Force and Lord of the Speed, two fantastic themes that belong in a playlist of amazing rider songs. It definitely helps that they're played by Rider Chips, a band that I personally enjoy since they made a lot of music of the series. Though I don't know which one I enjoy more. Full Force is really catchy and that guitar is, oh man. While Lord of the Speed is exactly what the name says, a song about the man who moves fast and will rule over everything. I've been dreading to talk about this, but I should also bring up the opening theme, Next Level.
I like it.
As you could probably tell from that reaction, I don't like this song. I'm sorry, I know it's a fan favorite, and I've gotten so many comments from my countdowns asking why I didn't have Next Level on them. I think it's something with the beat and the instruments that don't grab me. The singer is good, and the chorus is okay, but like I said, not for me. Please keep in mind that it's all just my opinion, and your opinion matters more than mine. While many will say that Next Level is a higher point towards Kabuto, I'll say that it's one of two main things I don't like about the season. Yep, despite me not saying much about the recap, I'll say right now that this is going to be a positive review. A big character moment comes early on with episode 4. Kagami leaves Tendo's house when Juka makes Kagami promise to come back and visit again. Kagami remembers a promise he made to his brother, Ryo, a long time ago. Ryo disappeared 2 years back, but suddenly reappeared around Tokyo. Zack the Tendo looked into Ryo and found out that his reappearance is due to being a mimic from a worm. Kagami doesn't want this to be true and is frustrated that Tendo involved himself with Ryo in the first place. Kagami goes to a baseball field to meet with Ryo. Then Zack troopers surround them, forcing Ryo to transform into a worm. Kagami hesitantly aims his pen gun thing to him when Tendo arrives to fight the worm off. Tendo takes Ryo's hit to symbolize Kagami's feeling of not wanting to lose his brother. Kagami realizes that he needs to let go. After this iconic scene, Kagami falls on his knees and cries. A few episodes later, Kagami gathers more footage from a fight between worms and Zek troopers. Then a yellow rider arrives.
It's not Sasori, it would be this guy.
Along with his own set of troopers called Shadows. This is Kamen Rider the Bee, or Zabi as they say it in Japanese. What a weird name in English. Tadakoro recognizes its user, Yaguruma. Okay, I was dreading to say Yaguruma's name when I was recording this. This is gonna be another calorie situation. Yaguruma. He appears to be a nice guy and gives Kagami some outstanding advice. A bit later, Tendo and Yaguruma attempt to buy tofu, but there's only one left, so they decide to have a cook-off at the bistro. Zek created the Bee to have their own rider since Kabuto isn't under them, meaning that the Bee's main mission is to bring him in. Tendo loses one fight on purpose with the Bee to make it seem like he's out of commission. Juka and Hirori rush over to the hospital, only to see Tendo giving the doctor his own diagnosis. Come on, that's funny.
I forgot about that.
What? He left behind.
He wasn't injured.
He has a memory of being under rubble and seeing a boy with
He was not injured.
Meanwhile, Yaguruma mentions that fighting Kabuto no longer suits his ideals, so he wishes Kagami the best, and Tendo gives him tofu as a farewell gift. Somewhere in the city, a little girl wants to help an injured woman, but is told not to touch her. A man walks up beside the woman, opens his guitar case, and puts makeup on her. The little girl's name is Gon. She has amnesia and is being taken care of by Daisuke, a makeup artist that doesn't care about anything unless a woman is involved.
right.
If he does happen to talk to one, Gon usually has to finish his sentences for him. I'm not bringing them up for no reason, so that must mean...
Not me. Not you, to me.
This is Kamen Rider Drake, my favorite masked and cast-off suits of the season. More of my thoughts about it in my countdown video. Throughout the show so far, Tendo has made it clear that he is not friends with any commoners, especially someone like Kagami. He doesn't even like the word friend. Tendo Soji. He walks the path of heaven and will rule over everything. He's also seen by many as a terrible protagonist because of how arrogant and perfect he is. Daguruma was often frustrated by how Tendo is always one step ahead of Zek missions, and Daisuke clashed with Tendo as soon as they sat down together to eat. There's a name that describes a character with no flaws. A Mary Sue, or Gary Stew for a male. Well, to be a Gary Stew, Tendo has to be flawless. You can tell where I'm going with this. Or do you? Tendo is perfect. I completely agree. There were times where I was in complete disbelief on how Tendo could find worms before Zect or any of Tadakoro's crew. However, arrogance is pretty widely considered to be a flaw for anyone. I'll keep saying Tendo is perfect, but to a fault. Not showing much emotion to others is not a good thing, and we'll even see him break down later on. When it comes to viewers being annoyed by Tendo, it can be because of how he may look down on others. This may surprise you, but there's more to it than what appears on the surface.
Yeah.
Did you know that his grandmother's quotes give some pretty good advice? I know some see them as annoying because, haha, the main character's quirk is to give quotes. Read some of them and hear them in context. Back to what I first said, Tendo doesn't like the word friend, because it's a title that should be only given to those he thinks is worthy. To the point I was trying to make, Kagami soon realizes what Tendo meant. They aren't friends. They're closer than that. Tendo was trying to teach him something. Yes, Tendo can be seen as a Gary Stew, but there's a reason that goes deeper than that. Oh look, Tendo can gather a group of women just by standing there. I wonder what Yaguruma's doing. Probably hating life because his subordinate, Kageyama, took the B from him. Yeah, I'm just gonna bring this up.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I legit did not like him.
Yeah, nobody did.
When he first came, he was so annoying.
But luckily, he didn't have to be for that long, though.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He had it for like, what, 1 or 2 episodes, and he lost it to, I think he ended up getting it back, or somebody new had it. Can't remember.
He was very. I was annoyed by him. I was just annoyed. It's like, why are you here, sir?
This is extra.
Just go home.
Get his extra chops off.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring this up here. Tendo gets a brand new toy that he uses literally twice in the whole season. But older seasons don't show toys as badly as newer Toku, am I right, guys? Oh look, there's Goro from Ryuki, and he's trying on the B-suit. In actuality, here his name is Mishima, the right-hand man.
I think he's my favorite
leader.
one out of all the
I
B's.
have no idea how to insert that, so there you go. Going back to memories, Gon gets knocked out by a worm and starts to recover what she lost with her amnesia. A while ago, she was on a bus with her mom when a worm attacked, causing the bus to crash. That's when Daisuke found her and offered her all the strawberry milk she wanted. Coincidentally, Daisuke works with Gon's mom, so they're able to reconnect soon enough. That's beautiful. Afterwards, Gon
that was just.
In the city. He calls to her, but Gon doesn't have any memories of him, so he apologizes and continues his walk. This would be a beautiful way to end Daisuke's arc. Though I'm just gonna bring this up now, Gon gets her memories of Daisuke back some episodes later. It comes out of nowhere too. In the next episode, we see a rich man accidentally drop a fork. He tells his butler, Gia, to throw it away, even though it's supposed to be an old heirloom. Then why was he eating with it? The man gets called on a job but is stopped by a police officer. Tsurugi Kawashiro, the man that stands on the top of the law. A worm kills the officer, then Tsurugi transforms into Kamen Rider Sawsword. We're showing that we
I love that.
Shoot wise, I think that's the best
Of course,
design one.
Tsurugi has to meet a protagonist, and of course, they have a clash of personalities. Although it kind of makes sense for Tsurugi to butt heads because we have another man that will stand on top of everything, and who also spouts quotes. Yeah, one writer's arc got finished pretty quickly, and we got another writer for comedy relief who's gonna be here for a while. I wonder what's coming next. Mishima sends Tadakoro into a room for an experiment. Zact is currently looking for someone that can withstand a powerful Zector. Their next candidate is Kagami. Elsewhere, Misaki and Kagami are staking out a factory for worms. Kagami enters it alone and gets surrounded by worms. Then a boy has Kagami make an escape. Kageyama is told that a boy is inside, but he retorts to Kagami that it's not possible. There are only worms in the factory. After visiting Tadakoro in the hospital, Mishima tells Kagami about Zact's project to find a user for Kamen Rider attack. Desperate, Kagami goes to test the Zector himself, anything to save the boy from the worms. He enters the room and exits as a bloody mess. Kageyama, the Beast Shadows, and Tsurugi are given orders to find worms in the factory before it's scheduled to detonate. Kagami rushes to the factory to save the boy. A worm approaches them, then the boy reveals himself as a worm too, and stabs Kagami. Zack knew that Kagami's will is strong, so they had a belt put on him. Since the beginning, Arase Kagami has been a naive person. He was kept in the dark by Zack, pushed to the side by Tendo. He lost a brother, isn't on good terms with his dad, who's secretly Zack's leader, and can barely fight a worm on his own, but he still tried. Kagami believed in his friends, and more importantly, in himself. When Tendo beat a worm during Clock Up to make it seem like Kagami did all the work, I felt Kagami's pure joy. I felt Kagami's sadness after his mimic brother died. I felt his interactive heroism just being in a minor part of Zact. However, now Kagami can't forgive the worm that betrayed his trust, so he calls for the attack Zactor. It's all led up to this. I only hope you guys can understand when I say Arata Kagami may not be a hero to some, but he's a hero to me, and my favorite Kamen Rider of all time.
I hear you.
Intermission time.
Well, first, let me just say this about Kagami. I understood why he was like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you heard it, yeah, but like,
Yeah.
he went through an awful lot. You know, something that it doesn't bother me watching Kamen Rider sometimes, but I feel like more riders need that type of story.
Yeah, they do.
Versus just running into the protagonist or something, and the protagonist is like, huh, and they kind of just fall into it. I feel like more. And not even the protagonists, just characters who become riders. They need more stories like that.
They do
to make them feel like the hero they want to be, you know. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, like when he became that secondary rider, Gattack. When he became that was a moment.
It's kind of like not to cut you off. It's kind of like what's his name? Kamen Rider Birth, the second one. Not Dr. Son, the other one.
Second one.
When he finally got the
it's
okay to be birthed.
It's like redemption.
Right.
Like you're given a chance to really prove that you can be greater than what you think you are.
And greater than he was.
Yeah.
Greater than he. You know, so ranking suits, just as a quick little side note, personally, I think Sussword is the best design one. Next would probably be the Bee, then Gattack, Kabuto, and then everybody else. Drake is cool. I guess suit design is cool, but it feels too simplistic to me. That's just me though. So, anyway, if you guys want to rate suits, you can.
I asked people on the Kamen Rider Amino what they thought about Kamen Rider Kabuto, and here are some of their responses. Willow Luna Axel says, on the surface level, at first I thought it was just some basic rider versus monster formula, but as I watched the characters interact and learned the deeper story, as explained by the movie, I learned to love the series. Not to mention its sleek rider suits, the hype soundtrack, and wonderful fight scenes. Also, I seriously don't understand people hating Tendo. I've heard people chalk it up to as, he has a huge god complex, which is not correct at all. Tendo is just calm and sensible. If anyone has some kind of complex in the show, it would be Tsurugi, and that's just cause he's posh. Not hating on my good Scorpion Boy. Overall, a great show. I also really like the reply to her. Red says, oh wow, so did we just become best friends with a singular paragraph? And I agree, I completely agree with everything Willow says. Lupin G.O.'s says, by the way, great name, I really enjoyed it. I really like the idea of Clock Up and the casts. The suit designs are pretty good. I love Sasor's suit. Even though I had a really bad Vietnamese dub of it, I still loved it. Kabuto was one of my favorite main riders that I even brought a Kabuto figure rise, even though the horn broke off. Also, the theme is amazing. Also love your videos. Well, thank you, Lupin G.O.'s. When you brought up the Vietnamese dub, I'm just going to show you guys here real quick that there was an official English dub of Kamen Rider Kabuto, and it's as bad as you guys would expect it to be.
Oh no.
Here you go real quick.
You're not going to get away this time. I'm going to take all you worms down. All of you! Put it down, it's mine! Transform!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I remember that.
Oh no!
I remember that.
Oh no!
I remember.
He's in the corner now.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian is now in the corner.
Oh no! They Dragon Knighted Cabo. I didn't. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh god no! Oh.
I gotta hear that again. I'm sorry. I have to hear that again.
Here you go real quick.
You're not going to get away this time.
You're not gonna get away this time.
I'm going to take all you worms down. All of you! Put it down, it's mine! Transform! Ain't shit. My grandmother once told me.
Another minion says,
Oh no.
Oh god! It's terrible. It's so bad. Oh god! Transform. What kind of? I give up.
Because that's the English word for henchie.
That is the
I
impression.
feel you. I got you. I understand.
No, you don't.
No, I feel you. The English voices were just bad.
Oh shit.
The resident I Love Kabuto to the Point of Near Obsession guy, it's a simply amazing season with equally amazing everything. If Tendo was the closest to perfect any main rider has been, the Kamen Rider Kabuto is the closest to perfect any rider season has ever been. Although the pacing could be better at moments, I absolutely adore everything about it. From the music to the suits to the plots and even the actors, they are all nearly perfected. I'm not joking when Kabuto is number one on nearly all my different lists of different aspects of Kamen Rider. I can gush about Kabuto for a day on end and there still won't be enough time. So in the word of the world's wisest grandma, walking the path of heaven, the one who will rule over all, Tendo Soji, Kamen Rider Kabuto. Well, luckily to you guys on Kamen Rider Mino, like I said earlier, this is going to be a positive review, even if it doesn't seem that way right now. So anyway, intermission done. Let's get back to the show.
You thought of me, show.
The meteorite that landed on Shibuya 7 years ago was where the worms came from. During it, Hiyori was trapped in the rubble when she saw young Tendo in front of her parents. Shibuya has been closed off to the public, but Hiyori, Tendo, and Kagami know that a dark secret is hiding in there. The three of them infiltrate Shibuya's Area X. Inside are papers from the Masked Rider Project from 1971. Along with Arasa Kagami's name. They also hear a sound come from deeper inside, but they're chased out by Kageyama. On a hill, Hiyori is drying, and it seems like she has insect wings. Meanwhile, Kagami and Tendo have been fighting. Kagami witnessed Tsurugi transform into a worm and wants to protect him from Tendo. Kagami talks to Gia about Tsurugi, but all he says is that sometimes God gives you a difficult decision. Gia knows his secret, but Tsurugi's heritage must continue, no matter by who. It doesn't help that Tsurugi made a promise to defeat all worms and avenge Kagami's brother. Plus, Tsurugi thinks they're best friends now. While cleaning, Juka finds a picture of Tendo and two adults that she doesn't recognize. Hiyori notices the photo when she goes over for a visit. The adults are actually Hiyori's parents, but that's not all. The mystery deepens when Hiyori later gets surrounded by worms. She has no choice as she releases herself and transforms into a worm. Meanwhile, Mishima's in Area X to talk to a masked man in chains. This man is being used to test a project, the Hyperzector. Tendo hides out with Hiyori to tell her the truth. When Tendo was young, his parents were mimicked by worms,
never mind.
so his grandmother took him in. His mother was pregnant with a girl she wanted to name Hiyori. Tendo Soji's name came from his grandma. His real name is Kusakabe Soji. When the meteor fell, Tendo was about to kill his mimic parents, until he heard the young Hiyori yell out to not kill them. He told Hiyori that he'll always be by her side, because they're brother and sister. Hiyori and Tendo hear a voice call to them from Area X. Inside, Hiyori sees a man in chains. She breaks off his mask and sees Tendo's face. It's been a week since Hiyori disappeared. Within that week, Tendo became a commander for Zack and is searching for a second in command. He had Kagami in mind, but goes with a girl named Renge. You can already forget her name. I'm barely gonna bring her up, because she doesn't really do much. Moving on. Tendo's first act as commander is to retrieve all the Zectors back, so he buys a soft sword Zector from Tsurugi, has Gon deliver the Drake Grip without Daisuke's permission, and forcibly takes the bee from Kageyama. However, during the fight with Kageyama...
Oh, this was awesome.
This is my shit.
I love this man.
Yaguruma sure seems a bit edgy today. Kamen Kick Hopper looked pretty cool though. Kageyama gets fired from Zack and is thrown out in the rain while Yaguruma laughs at him. Wow. I wonder what Tsurugi is doing right now. Huh. Renge is on the run after stealing a case that holds the Hyperzector. Kagami and Tendo are there to protect her, but a worm grabs the case and Mishima blows it up. However, this doesn't matter to the man who walks the path of heaven, because through space and time, the Hyperzector arrived from the future to be with Tendo. And in case any of you were confused about what just happened, me too. Well, look, Kageyama becomes Kamen Punch Hopper and calls Yaguruma his brother. To add to the edginess, they call themselves the Hell Brothers. By the way, the Hyperzectors are never explained. Ever. So, I wish I can build this up because the scene that I'm going to talk about is actually really cool, but I'll explain more detail outside the recap. After battling some worms, Tendo picks up a green rock, which is a piece of the meteor from years ago, teleporting him to a field where Hiyori is, along with another Tendo.
Yep. Dark Kabuto.
This rider is called Dark Kabuto, so I'll be calling its user Dark Tendo. Later on, Tendo walks into the bistro, but doesn't have his usual arrogant attitude, because Dark Tendo entered Earth to defeat the real Tendo for taking back Hiyori. Unfortunately, worms are becoming rampant and the riders can barely fight them off. Tsurugi is recruited, but he only wants to protect his crush, Misaki. He's had a thing for her since they first met after his debut, so this didn't come completely out of nowhere. Tsurugi's asked her out on dates before, though she's always brushed him off. Except now, Misaki decides to finally give him a chance. Tsurugi tries his hardest, even making her a muffler as a gift. He's running late for his date because he gets attacked by a worm. Tsurugi stumbles by Misaki and transforms into a worm. The truth from Tsurugi is that a worm killed his sister, and then the real Tsurugi, so the worm copied him. The mimic meant no harm. It didn't even know it was a worm until now. But Tsurugi decides to do what a worm does and fight humans. He fights with Tendo, imagining how a date with Misaki could have been. Misaki yells at...
Yeah, I did. But what do you mean you didn't know?
Because some of them forget. Some of them some of them will be born. They take over other people's memories and stuff, and they just completely forget.
My guess is that they got so accustomed they just forgot. That's my guess. Because they kind of just fit so well, because they're mimics, so they just kind of mimic their life.
Everything they have, even their memories.
So I would assume that they just forget that they're worms, and I guess when something's triggered, and they just go,
Tendo's fucking parents got copied, and with their baby inside of the stomach, and it was born to the little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah,
so that means you can copy everything about that person's life, even them being pregnant with another child.
Yeah.
Every single.
Even them being pregnant. So yeah.
That's crazy. How do you do that?
That's what I'm saying. What kind of DNA do you have to have?
They have worm DNA.
Yeah.
This nigga.
For all seriousness, their ability is to copy. Yeah. Their ability is to copy.
How did he just effortlessly knock a gun out of your hand? Like, even if it was fake and it was your fingers, he effortlessly went. Anyway, like, do you know Krav Maga or something?
Oh my god, let's continue.
Tendo
I get what you're
stopped,
saying,
but
though.
Tendo finishes off Tsurugi over a promise they made: defeat all worms. Tsurugi sits on a chair waiting for Gia.
That's not going in the video.
This was sad.
Civilians are given
That was
worm
extremely
detecting
sad.
necklaces by Zect. Naturally, Tendo figures out that they're being used for evil purposes. The necklaces can turn people into worms, and since Tendo is destroying them, he's become public enemy number 1. Mishima takes over the leading position at Zect and gives us some exposition. Dark Tendo was a human that became a worm due to some Zect experiments. He was made this way to create the masked rider systems, then he was forced to mimic the real Tendo. These experiments continued to the necklaces so worms can rule the earth. Mishima himself has taken part to become the ultimate worm. Kagami is given orders to kill Tendo, and seemingly does so with much hesitation. Tendo is caught in an explosion and is trapped under rubble, just like how Hiyori was when the meteor hit. The finale, episode 49, Path of Heaven. Renge hands Kagami a letter from Tendo telling him about Zek's plan to turn humans into worms by using the necklaces. A broadcasting antenna is what will trigger the transformation. With that info, Kagami gets up and decides to storm the Zek facility himself. He gets badly beaten by Mishima, but luckily, Tendo arrives in time to finish him off in the final battle. Dark Tendo wakes up and sacrifices himself to destroy the facility. Who knows where Mishima went? Probably to become a fruit vendor somewhere. With that, Tendo and Kagami throw their Zectors into the sky, and Tendo gives a quote not by his grandma, but by himself. Every one of their friends gather at the bistro. Tadokoro is running a soba shop. Misaki has her own business. Plus, Daisuke and Gon are still hanging out while Hiyori and Juka work at the bistro too. Meanwhile, Kagami is working as a police officer, making his father proud, and Tendo is currently away buying tofu in Paris.
That's the most random thing about the whole ending. Everybody else in Japan, they just chilling. This nigga went to Paris.
Yeah, he went
Paris
to
with
travel the world.
a bowl of tofu.
With a bowl of tofu.
No, he got the bowl of tofu from France.
Either way.
Who carries a bowl of tofu?
No, he got the tofu from France. He's doing a trip. I thought, to my understanding of the ending for him, is he's going around the world getting tofu.
I mean, hey, tofu is amazing. Although it tastes like nothing.
Unless you mix it with something.
Unless you mix it with something.
But he's not gonna, because Japanese people they don't really do that. It's just that's just basic ass tofu
Chicken
in
nuggets.
that bowl.
Yeah. Tofu good. Tofu good.
Tofu good.
Tofu good with some miso soup.
So random.
But what if the meteor that hit Shibuya was bigger than we thought? In this alternate timeline, the world has become a desolate
Oh, yeah, the
wasteland.
movie.
Neo Zect has become their own entity, and Tendo is still as perfect as ever. So he teams up with Kagami to take them down. However, they don't have much time as another meteor is about to hit Earth. Other riders, as well as 2 new ones, get defeated. The big bad of this timeline is a rider
That
named
was a shot.
Kabuto who's capable of hyper clock up. Tendo is able to summon the Hyper Zector and pulls off a miracle at the last second. With hyper clock up, Tendo breaks off the meteor and travels through time, to where only a chunk would hit Shibuya from 7 years ago. Thank you, TV Nihon, for subbing this amazing series. I I did not do this recap any justice. In fact, this is the season where I skipped the most details so far. Yeah, I think I only covered about half the episodes with the main points. Usually I would consider that a bad thing. Maybe I'd say something like, oh, it's all filler, so none of it was worth bringing up. Although that would be only for the recap. For a review and personal thoughts on Kabuto, man, I don't even know where to begin since I already covered a couple of characters too. When it comes to Tokusatsu, story and characters can be huge if action isn't a focus. Previous seasons grabbed me by how amazing the characters were, and not even development, just the personalities were enough of a driving force. For Kabuto, I'd say Kagami alone is fantastic. Though that's just one character. I love so much about Kabuto that I can't possibly put it all into words. Let me start by saying that the show is kinda weird with its pacing. Maybe even a bit slow to some. I know that'll surprise a lot of you, but when I look back at my notes, I noticed that there weren't too many big plot points to follow, and that's completely okay. If fighters aren't fighting each other, then Tendo and Kagami are tracking worms by searching for clues.
Yeah.
It's intriguing to say the least, though the bigger focus is on the characters. I already talked about Tendo and Kagami, but the other writers and secondary characters are good as well. Tsurugi has such a fun and naive personality. It makes her some good humor in contrast to the serious Misaki. Daisuke being a womanizer has led to moments where he had important decisions to make, including one where he had to protect a mimic despite knowing their secret. Aguruma started out as a trusted character who lived by the mantra of having perfect harmony. Then when he fell to inner darkness and insanity, he threw away that mantra to find something that he thought was better. His connection to Kageyama since the Bee's debut worked as well as brothers. I just wish they had something to resolve. I didn't bring this up in the recap, but they both die? I think? I don't get it either, moving on.
Yeah, they were just kind of there.
Tsurugi's butler is fantastic. He's one of the few people that Tendo respected because GF should be the man that stands above everything. He puts up with Tsurugi and still offers fatherly advice while covering his tracks. There's a lot more to each character that I enjoy, maybe even more so than Hibiki's cast, although there is one character that I didn't like, Hiyori. Which leads me to my biggest, and so far, only true problem of the season. The first 34 episodes, I think, are fantastic. The slower pacing leads to great moments between Tendo and Kagami. There was a point early on when Kagami becomes the Bee, but gives it up because he didn't want to hurt Tendo. The cinematography there was great, slow but without feeling like a pretentious artsy moment. It was only truly felt a connection that would push them throughout the season. There were a lot of beautiful moments like this in between the story. After those episodes, well, I'll just put it bluntly, the season got boring.
It
This
did.
is where
I'm
I'll
not
exaggeratedly say nothing happens. And I don't mean that literally the characters stand around doing nothing, although they might as well be. There are a lot of arcs where there's nothing that matters in the grand scheme of things, but the character development and interactions were what made them entertaining. Slower moments became very few and far between. All I can think of from the top of my head is when Kagami and his father silently played catch at a baseball field. It's nighttime. There's no music. They don't even say a word when they see each other. It's absolutely beautiful. Not to mention Tsurugi's death scene. They're on par with moments that came earlier, but like I said, that's all, even looking at my notes. Kamen Hibiki was a bit of a slow show too, although that was allowed to be because it had a slice of life style, where the only main points were to defeat monsters and how the characters learn a lesson. Kabuto doesn't have that liberty. It has an end game to get with Zack and a story to tell. But good thing they have the Dark Kitchen arc where Tendo has to defeat a worm by the power of cooking, or the arc where an evil mirror makes students disappear because there are actually worms behind it, or the few episodes that deal with the worms called natives that came from an earlier meteor, only to realize, hey, these worms are evil too. How about that arc with a powerful worm commander that can regenerate so it's super evil, then gets defeated like any other worm? It's just so... Which is a huge shame because there are plenty of good ideas in the second half too. Tendo uses the Hyperzector for the first time in episode 34, but beforehand, Hyper Kabuto has appeared at random intervals. It's kind of weird just saying it, although it was really cool to see him, and no one knowing what just happened. There was an awesome lead-up, only for the viewer to realize that Wait, episode 34 isn't the endpoint of the Hypersector debut. It's only the beginning of the next arc. That's great. It's just that everything in between was a drag. One of my favorite ideas to come from this season is Dark Kabuto. Much like the Hypersector, we had glimpses of Dark Tendo since the first time we heard him in Area X. Then when we get a proper introduction with his first transformation, it became one of my favorite moments in not only the season, but the whole Kamen Rider series. Dark Tendo's raspy voice, his slow walk, the colorful background as a contrast. Again, amazing. Then he gets dropped for a while until Tendo gets Hiyori back. Speaking of Hiyori, she's probably my least favorite Rider girl. She basically has no emotion towards anything, and that may be the point, but that doesn't excuse how boring she is. Yeah, I get her backstory, it's sad, but come on, lighten up during a comedy relief moment, emote, do something. I think I'd rather have annoying over boring. That's gonna come back to bite me in later seasons, isn't it?
I think she was in Garo.
What the... Don't remember what season. I watched a lot of Gyrax.
The live action Garo, like the first.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was.
Which season? Because it's like 4 seasons, right?
She was in the first and second.
Does it really matter?
Not really.
I was just saying, like, she was in there. She had kind of a more of a dialogue in there.
Well, because that's a different show.
Blade and Hibiki early in this video. It seems that plenty of people agree that Kabuto's second half is a mess. So what happened? More meddling from the higher-ups? Staff changes? Well, the main writers stayed the same since the beginning. Some episodes were written by other people, but it was all wrapped together by... Shoji Yonemura. I briefly brought him up in Hibiki, though he only wrote 2 episodes of it. And this isn't the last time I'll talk about him either. Oh, trust me. For now, I don't think he did too bad with Kabuto's writing. After all, it has some of my favorite characters and stories. For now. One main criticism I've seen is the mood whiplash. Kabuto's a pretty serious season. Characters die. The story is mature. Ultimate makeup. Wait, what? Humor is subjective. I can understand people getting annoyed by the comic relief. However, it really isn't that bad, and for one reason. The comedy moments are few and far between. Even then, it's not like there's anything that ruins a moment, plus the humor is quick except for one Tsurugi scene. So I don't understand how it makes the season worse if it can be looked over as fast as they appear. Well, that's pretty much everything I can say, so it's time for my final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Okay, so, I pretty much went hard on that criticism for Kabuto's second half, but you know what? I think the first half carried the show for me to say, I love this season. The second half isn't like the worst thing ever, so having a meh second half with an amazing first half is completely okay with me. I actually had Kabuto as my #1 favorite Rider season. That changed over time as I watched more Kamen Rider, so it was pushed back. Rewatching it, yeah, Kabuto is still as, if not better than I remember. It might actually be tied with my favorite season at this point. The characters alone are some of my favorite in the whole series, and Kagami will continue to be my favorite Kamen Rider of all time. As a recommendation, I say to proceed with caution. The action and characters are fun, but the pacing can be a turn-off to some. Like I said before about Kagami, he may not be a hero to some, but he's a hero to me.
I hear you.
With all that being said, I'll see you guys next time when we board the time traveling
Dano!
with Kamen Rider Dano, Ore Sanjo. Oh, I'm never doing that again.
Unfortunately, you have to. Sir.
So.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Also, I'd like to point out that Kagami ends up getting the Kabuto Sector in a special.
No. I was gonna be wrong. Maybe it's in the up to you. No.
It was around Zio.
Oh no. It might have.
Episodes there.
Yeah. He winds up using it.
Because he had to get the rider watch from Kid Kabuto.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Kabuto Zect had finally acknowledged him, so.
I don't know what episode that is. I'll think of it.
Kagami for the win! You don't have to be perfect to get up the.
Yeah.
Temper. I got it. That is not a backcracker, sir. That is a John Swallow.
All right, so with that, oh god damn!
What?
I wasn't expecting it to hit him.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute, okay? Just wait a
And
minute.
he got a nerf gun.
Final thoughts,
My final thoughts, I really like Kabuto.
Brian, Urban Ninja. Final thoughts.
Henshin.
That's his final thoughts. You, Master Real.
Where's the Drake?
I will forever love Kabuto. I said this once, say it again. The way Kabuto fights and how fast he goes is the reason why I love this.
And he's perfect.
And no, it's not because he's perfect. It's because of the fact of the whole concept with the belts and how they work. I like the way that shit is. What is going on here?
I was yawning. My apologies.
I was just like that. Just put that back. So, without further ado, Henshin.
And we'll see you guys again next time.
Fucking
Well,
say
one of
it.
the funniest-
Say the word.
Best riders
Say the
I have-
words. Say the word.
that I have watched that started me for Kamen Rider. Dano.
Yeah,
See you next time.
yeah. Henshin.
Thank you.